So today I want to share with you a challenge that I came across on Tim Ferriss's YouTube community tab. This challenge was designed to help you identify your unrealistically incredible life dreams and take small, actionable steps toward achieving them. Now, as we're headed into the last quarter of the year, I wanted to incorporate this into my typical quarterly planning, which is based on the HB90 bootcamp from Sarah Cannon. Now, we'll do more on that later, but I did want to show you the discussion. I don't know if you can see it particularly, but I do have the link in the description box below if you want to take a look at the post. My idea of doing this is a little bit different. So as I was completing this exercise for myself, which I'll show you in a moment, I started to feel really excited about completing these goals as I was creating a roadmap toward that finish line. So sometimes throughout the quarter, I have all of these great goals, and then I get analysis paralysis. But this method really has no holes in it when it comes to doing the next actionable thing. Now, I didn't follow his method particularly because I have a really good idea and a good handle on what I need to be doing to progress in my author career, but that's years and years of goal planning. But if you are stuck, he mentions creating a list of 5 things that you want to do, that you want to have, that you want to have, want to be, or do in the next 6 to 12 months. So this is a fantastic jumping off point. So if you feel like you're not sure what you want to be doing, definitely check out his post. He has some great questions to ask yourself. But if you sort of want to walk through this with me, feel free to grab a notebook, pen, or a tablet, or whatever digital note-taking device that you love to use, and let's dive in. So I am plotting the end of my year. So that's sort of mid-September through December. I have a lot of goals that I want to accomplish, and sometimes I just can't wait for the quarterly goal planning. So I am going to outline 3 goals, which I tend to do based on the HB90 program, the boot camp. And I'm going to mix in a little bit of Tim Ferriss's information regarding the 5 minutes actionable steps each day. Now, if you want to work on a timeline that's 6 to 12 months, that's totally up to you. However you like to goal plan, this can be flexible to that. So I'm going to go through each of my goals. So I would recommend first that you want to identify your goals, whether that's goals you already know, or if you want to outline those have, be's, or do's. Now, all of these goals that I write are showing me the end result. So this is a way that I can set myself up for a roadmap. So like the first goal is to complete the second draft of my next thriller novel. So I want to complete that by the end of December. So I have a timeline, and the goal is finished once I complete that second draft. So once you have that overarching goal, you want to be able to break it down a bit into actionable steps. And when I do actionable steps with my goals, I try to put an action verb on the each of the steps that I have to do. Now, when it comes to completing the second draft of my next thriller novel, I typically read about 5 to 6 thriller novels from a specific list based on sort of refilling my creative well. I need to outline the book. I'm going to research and create character visuals in Canva, research and create location visuals. These are really helpful for me when I'm writing and I'm kind of stuck or I need to describe something. And then write the first draft, edit the first draft, send the edited draft to my critique partners, and then self-edit the book to complete that second draft. So that is the first goal. So we're going to look at that overarching goal and then sort of break it down into a sort of to-do list. So my next goal is to enroll. So these different numbers in the HB90 bootcamp, Sarah talks about a good, better, best goal. So a good goal for me would be to enroll 5 students into my course. A better, 10, and my best would be 15. So in this one, I want to make sure I do my weekly YouTube videos, which is sort of my outreach to author moms. Reach out to 5 author moms per day, follow up once weekly, send a bi-weekly newsletter where I talk about different things coming up and different tips and tricks about productivity. If you're interested in that, my link is in the description. And daily interaction with current students. We currently have an Instagram chat that we're using, and research and perform high converting outreach. So that is goal 2. I have my timeline, which is the end of December. I have measurable metrics, which are the 5, 10, 15, into the course and community. So my third goal for the next quarter is to outline my next nonfiction project. So typically, I've been doing a lot of reading, so I have sort of that research step already happening, so I didn't put that on my list. So I want to create the table of contents. I'm going to read 5 more productivity books and take notes. I'm going to create a Scrivener document for this particular book, and I want to be able to have all of the things outlined. And then I want to outline each section and chapter, and then create interview questions for case studies. Now, typically with my nonfiction books, I am interviewing people. I love to have other perspectives when it comes to my nonfiction books, because sometimes maybe someone doesn't vibe with what I'm exactly saying, but they may with someone else. And I also think it's a great part of my research. So going back into sort of where Tim Ferriss talks about in this post, taking action steps. So the next step, outlining the goal, putting a bunch of to-dos on my list, is using the action verbs, which I mentioned, and really breaking down those goals into 5-minute time increments. Now, I've never done this before, but I have to say I was pretty excited about it. So I'm not going to put that whole list because it's a ton of things I have to do. So I picked the first 2 to-dos off my first goal. So reading 6 thriller novels from my list. So in 5 minutes, I can research and shortlist recommended thriller novels. I can choose the first novel from that list. That shouldn't take more than 5 minutes. And set a timer and read for 5 minutes. So each of these steps only takes up to 5 minutes, moving you toward your goal. So then after that's done, when it comes to outlining the book, it should take 5 minutes to decide on a main theme or concept, writing the names and descriptions of the main characters, breaking down the beginning and end of the story. This is how I outline. I always try to mirror the first scene to the last scene, write a brief summary of the first chapter or scene, and then continue to expand on the outline, working in 5-minute increments. Now, within his post, he really wants you to dive in as soon as possible. And I think this is great for motivation for authors, or if you want to achieve your goals, just starting and doing really gets the momentum going. So he recommended listing out your goal and what's an actionable step that you can take today, right now, 5 minutes. So, for example, the first goal, completing the second draft of my thriller novel. Today, in 5 minutes, if I set a timer, I can research and shortlist the recommended thriller novels. And then he recommends, and it's nice that he has like a exact deadline. So the next actionable step, which is due at 11 a.m. tomorrow, is to choose the first novel from the list. The next actionable step, due 11 a.m. the day after, set a timer and read for 5 minutes. So looking at the next goal, enrolling students in, going through all of these actionable steps that only take 5 minutes. And I think this is definitely a game changer when it comes to any sort of analysis paralysis. Sometimes when I am so busy, it's hard to see the forest for the trees. And I have 3 goals. So taking the first column, 15 minutes in one day, I'm going to be further on my goal than I was if I didn't do anything, which I think is a bit mind-blowing. I might be the only one, but I really love it. So I typically use a visual timer for like any of my Pomodoros or focus sessions. So setting a timer for 5 minutes and doing the thing, you could be heating up dinner and it takes more than 5 minutes and you would have already pushed forward on your goals. So the next time I have analysis paralysis, I just have to access my list, which is in a big Google sheet, and I have little check boxes that go down. Once it's done, I could say, okay, I'm done for the day with this goal. Or if I have a block of time, say 45 minutes or an hour, I can keep going and the list is already made for me. I think it's pretty exciting, and I'm excited to sort of let you know how this goes at the end of the quarter, because I want to make sure that I'm hitting my goals. I would love to see if you can hit your goals based on this method. And I really think, especially for moms, it's easy for us to sort of plan ahead. And then when we're in the thick of it, already have everything ready for us. So these are my thoughts about the process. Touching each of my goals multiple times a week is super exciting. 5 minutes is very easy. And progress is progress. So the more you're moving forward, the better you'll feel toward your goal. And again, as I mentioned, it's helpful with motivation as everything is already set up and aligned to achieve these goals. And then you could get the ball rolling if you have more than 5 minutes. So I did want to let you know, as I mentioned, the HB90 Bootcamp, this was a fantastic 7-day program hosted by Sarah Cannon. The benefits include lifetime access. So as an alumni, I've been able to attend all of the live rounds since I signed up, and they're super motivational. You get community support for new students. I believe there's a specific Facebook group for new students, and then you get filtered into the alumni group. And you also get a free planner when you sign up, which is really exciting. So I do have an affiliate link. I do get a kickback if you sign up with my link. You don't have to. Feel free to search it on your own. But KatlynDuncan.com/HB90. Also, the link is in the description box below if it's easier to click on. So that was it for our talk about unrealistic planning. I do recommend that you jump in and check out his post because I think it's really exciting and motivating. So I wanted to thank you so much for being here. If you learned anything from today's discussion, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up so I know that you learned something. And I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week, and I'll see you next week.